Autoline Live from the North American International Auto Show is brought to you by our signature sponsors. Chrysler, the Chrysler 300S, imported from Detroit. Dodge. Fiat, the next wave of Italians has arrived. Jeep, for more information on the full lineup, visit jeep.com. Ram, visit ramtrucks.com. And also by Audi, Truth in Engineering. Bridgestone, your journey, our passion. IAC, Inside Solutions from IAC. ITC Holdings Corporation. Visit us at www.itctransco.com. ITC is your energy superhighway. And now, from the floor of the North American International Auto Show in Detroit, here's your host, John McElroy.
Hello, everybody, and thanks for joining us again from the 2013 North American International Auto Show here in Cobo Center in Detroit. This is day 2 of all the proceedings, and yet we've still got a great lineup of interviews that I'll be doing with executives here at the show, including Bob Carter from Toyota, Rainier Michael, who does a lot of the product planning for the Volkswagen brand, Bob Ferguson, the new head of Cadillac globally, Michael Martini from Bridgestone, Mike Acaviti, the new head of sales at Honda, Fred De Perez from Nissan, Chris Chapman, the head of design for Hyundai in North America, and Bo Anderson, the CEO of Gaz, the Russian company. It's going to be a tremendous lineup of interviews that we've got coming. Don't forget that I'll be taking questions from everybody at the end of the show. Those of you in the chat room will be able to get those questions to me, and we'll get going with my first interview right after this.
No one just hands you the title, most advanced technology in its class. It needs to be earned. Earned with smart beam headlamps. Earned with vented temperature control seats. Earned with an 8.4-inch touchscreen. And if you're driving one, you know what it means to earn something.
We are IAC Group, a global Tier 1 supplier of vehicle interior solutions that span the rapid, ever-changing needs of today's industry. From interior design and engineering to manufacturing and delivery, IAC, our heritage, your advantage.
Tenacity, plated in chrome. Determination, covered in mud. Fight, firing on 6 cylinders. The new Ram 1500 with best-in-class fuel economy. Guts, glory, Ram. Motor Trend's 2013 Truck of the Year.
And right now, obviously, we're in the Toyota display, and joining me is Bob Carter, the Senior Vice President of Operations for Toyota. And look at this car next to us. Tell us about it.
Oh, John, I love this car. This is our Corolla Furia concept. And it's a concept now. We're gauging customer interest.
Well, here's my customer interest, man. I love this thing. This is so different than any Corolla you've ever done.
Corolla has been part of the heritage of Toyota for 45 years. And we've sold a lot of #1 selling car across the globe. But the consumer's changing. What they aren't changing from is they expect the high quality of a Corolla and the good value and the high MPG, but they're asking us for more styling. And that's what this concept is about. And so if you squint at this, John, you'll see a little bit of the work and a little bit of the study that we're doing to where we think the next Corolla should be and what consumers are looking for.
Well, I hope I don't have to squint too much because I like it as it is. Now, when I see concept cars, obviously, there's things like the wheels, how much they fill up the wheel wells, and I know that's cheating it from a design standpoint a little bit. You've got some very crisp edges on the outside of the front fascia, too. Is that what I should be squinting at to sort of blur?
Well, what we're after is to give it a more athletic, agile design, but not make it so aggressive that the consumers are looking for a little bit more eloquent design. We're trying to strike that right balance. Also, we hopefully you get a good youthful feel from it, because everybody, regardless of your age, everybody likes to feel young at heart. And so consumers today are saying, geez, I really wish I could have had a car that had the value of a Corolla, the quality and the MPG, but I just need something exciting to look at. You know, that's what this concept is all about.
It really is. And, you know, what I find so impressive about Toyota is it's like it's spun on a dime from a styling standpoint. The new Avalon, to me, really signaled that at first, even on the Lexus side of things. And to see that level of excitement come down into a car like the Corolla really shows me you guys are dead serious about changing your styling.
Well, a lot of that credit goes to our global president, Akio Toyoda. He's given us the resources here in the U.S. to design, develop, engineer, manufacturing cars all on our own. The car you mentioned, Avalon, we designed that in California. We engineered it here in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and it's going to be produced in Kentucky. Now, we've done that before, but we've done 80% of the car, maybe 90% of the car. The Avalon was the first car that we did completely here in North America for U.S. customers. And you're starting to see that come through our product lines in the new RAV that was just introduced last week, this Corolla concept, and you'll see that on all the 9 new vehicles that we're going to be launching this year among the 3 brands, Toyota, Lexus, and Scion.
You had a terrific year in 2012. You've come roaring back from a number of problems. Some of you're making, some not. How high is up right now? I mean, I can't believe you'll have the same kind of growth. But how much better than last year can you do in 2013?
Well, our aspiration, first of all, we appreciate the growth. It's been a difficult year, 3 years for Toyota, as well as the entire industry. And some of that recovery, we were up 27%. Some of that was recovering from the tsunami and earthquake. But it was much more than that. You know, with the newly designed Camry that came in #1 again for the 11th consecutive year, and the Prius family, we're seeing new buyers coming into Toyota stores that, quite frankly, we hadn't seen before. So, you know, with all this new product that we introduced last year and this year, our aspirations is that we think it's going to be a very good year for the industry, but we'll grow a little bit more than everyone else.
That's good. Bob Carter, thanks so much for your time.
John,
today.
always
really
a pleasure.
Appreciate it. Yeah,
always a pleasure.
And build this one. Don't change much at all. Please.
I got your input.
Okay, thanks. Really appreciate it. Okay, people, now we're going to head on over to Volkswagen and see the head of product development there. And joining us for the walk there is going to be Jessica Caldwell from Edmunds.com. And Jessica, what, you're the head analyst, the chief number cruncher? What do you
Person that hangs out with the Excel spreadsheet all day, every day? That's me. Yep, you got that right, John.
Now, I understand you've got some interesting observations of what's going on in the luxury segment. Is that just overall, or what you've seen here at the show?
Well, I think overall what we've seen here at the show really reflects that. I mean, we're seeing a lot of less expensive luxury models hit the market, and I think right now with our friendly credit environment, so interest rates are low, residual values are pretty good for these cars. All of a sudden in luxury, you have a low monthly payment, what makes it all like a really accessible for the average consumer, which is great because people like that prestigious nameplate.
Is that segment big enough? I mean, at the show, here's Lincoln showing the MKC trying to make a comeback with that. Cadillac's got the ATS and the ELR trying to grow there. Infiniti tells me they're going to change their game around. Acura's trying to do the same. And then you've got, you know, the real strong ones in there who have been strong all along. Mercedes, BMW, Audi, even Lexus. They're not going to roll over and just let these new dogs try to come in. And really not new dogs, but trying to put new life into old brands.
Yeah, it's true. I think that's why you're seeing so many more cars. I mean, the number of vehicles available in the luxury segment, I mean, you know, that's skyrocketed. And they're going into different segments. And again, I think targeting the lower end gives them a broader reach. So, you know, people all of a sudden that were not in that market can be in that market, and I think that helps grow volume, and so you can have more players in it.
But is it enough to accommodate the growth for everybody who says, oh yeah, we're going to sell a whole lot more luxury cars?
Perhaps. I think it definitely is tough because they all are coveting that buyer, and that buyer base is not as big. But, you know, I think that if these other brands that are challenging consistently come out with good cars, I think that they'll get noticed, but it's a process. It's going to take some time before they're ready. And I think they have stated several times over the course of the show and recently that we're not there yet, but we're trying to get there. So it's something that they know is happening.
So what's your assessment of what Lincoln's doing? What do you think of the MKC, and how do you assess their chances going deeper into the decade?
Yeah, well, Lincoln, I think for the MKC, that's a good choice because that segment has so much volume, and I think also a lot of exposure, and it fits a lot of people's lifestyles. So I think the number of people that you can capture in that segment is really good. So I think that's a good start, but they have a long way to go.
Yeah, and even they'll tell you that. They know they have a long way to go.
Exactly.
And, if this business was easy, we'd all be doing it.
And we'd all be selling expensive luxury cars with big profits, right?
Anything else at the show that jumps out at you?
I just think that the sentiment is great. I mean, we're coming off of a great sales year, so I feel like the mood is so much better. I mean, you were here in 2009. It wasn't a fun place to be, but I think all of a sudden the auto industry is getting more fun and more joyous, which is great.
Cool. As always, Jessica, thanks so much for your time and your insight there.
Sure.
Really appreciate it.
Thanks, John.
Okay, see you around.
See you.
Okay, now we're going to be talking with Rainier Michael. Yeah. And here he is. Rainier Michael, John McElroy. Pleasure
Nice to meet you.
Yeah. And you run all product development for what? Volkswagen?
No, I'm the VP Product Marketing and Strategy for the Volkswagen brand in North America. So welcome on our stand this year.
It's a pleasure to be here. Yeah. You guys are rocking and rolling here in the U.S. market right now. And you've got what? Something to show us here?
Yeah.
What's the intro that you've got at the
maybe
show?
we turn around. We start quickly here. That's a new cross blue mid-size SUV concept, but maybe let us walk first over there and then we come back
to this one.
Yeah.
Sure.
What you see in the beginning is our Tiguan, well known. We will bring with the next model year a Tiguan R-Line. That's a sporty interpretation of the well-known Tiguan, which is a nice addition. We do the same with the Touareg, the so-called R-Line, which is giving optical sporty expression. You also get a sports suspension with it. And then when you look in the next car, we come to the concepts. And this year, Detroit is all about SUVs with Volkswagen. We have a successful Tiguan, we have a well-received entry-lux Touareg, but what we want to show here is what Volkswagen is able to do. So you see here the Cross Coupe. We showed it already before, however, this time it's a plug-in diesel hybrid. So you have two electrical motors, one in the front, one in the rear. The rear one is doing the all-wheel drive function. And the same powertrain concept we have in the new Cross Blue, and that's an important car, an important concept for us because we see the mid-size SUV segment as one of the fastest growing, becoming the biggest segments in North America, and obviously Volkswagen wants to also take part there. And what we do here is showing concept cars to test with the media, test with end consumers through the public days, whether that could and will really be something for us. Decisions are not yet taken. It's expected the next couple of months, also based on what we experience here at the show. What you see is a mid-size mid-size SUV designed into the sweet spot, tailored to the US customer needs, and it's also carrying the new Volkswagen design language. When you look at the front, the horizontal grille is really, what you will see also with other Volkswagens in the future. It is, of course, an SUV which should show size and also safety. On the other hand, I say it's still light. What we try to do is really show that it's fuel efficient, that's an efficient package. It accommodates this car in specific 6 seats. We have six seats, captain shared in the rear. But of course, when we decide to bring it in production, it would also have a 7-seat configuration. What it has, it's also a diesel plug-in hybrid. And Volkswagen stands for diesel, obviously, and it was clear that sooner or later we would also, look into diesel hybrids, and I was always asked by the media about it. And here we go. Here we have one which is again a diesel engine with an electrical motor in the front and an electrical motor in the rear. And we call it prop shaft by wire, so you have no prop shaft to the rear, and the all-wheel drive capability is done through the electrical motor in the rear. In order not to depend with your all-wheel drive capabilities on the battery, the diesel, in case of all-wheel drive, will be powering the front electrical motor, which is then acting as a generator to supply the respective energy to the rear electrical motor. It's a very refined car, so what we also want to show is that what Volkswagen is able to do and what Volkswagen stands for: interior refinement, great materials, very upscale design solutions, and you know that Volkswagen stands for the volume, premium under the volume brands, and that's a very nice evidence here what we do, and both cars I think really show that. And again, the SUV business is very important for us. Volkswagen is known for the great success Jetta and Passat, and of course, you know, we need and want to also play a bigger role in the SUV business.
That's really impressive what you're talking about in SUVs. Would these be vehicles that you would consider building in North America, or how would you handle that?
I mean, there's no decision taken, especially where to build, but it's clear that if you want to be successful over here, you have to build in the NAFTA area. So be it Canada, be it Mexico, be it the US. And it's clear that, you know, such a vehicle, in order to be successful, like Passat, like Jetta, like Beetle, would also need a manufacturing place in the NAFTA area. As I said, no decisions taken yet where exactly, and also whether we do the car and when and how. But I think it shows really what Volkswagen stands for and what Volkswagen is able to do in the future.
Rainier, amazing presentation that you just gave us. You make my job easy, man. I really appreciate your time. Yeah, it's a pleasure. Pleasure meeting you, and thank you for bringing me to the Volkswagen stand.
Thanks for coming.
Very good. Hey, folks, we're going to take a quick break right now, but come back with me in just a moment, because we're going to be talking with the new executive who's in charge of Cadillac globally, and a whole lot more than that.
Start with the simple idea. Think, drink coffee, design something totally original. Do it again. That's good. Call in the engineers, call in the car guys, call in the nerds. Build a prototype, mold it, shape it, love it. Give it a starting price under 16 grand. Uh-oh, the finance guys. You can't do that. Kick out the finance guys. Take it to the track. Tweak, 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 stop. Take it to the car shows, call the critics, win some awards. Making a groundbreaking car. It's that easy.
So this performance football is another way Bridgestone is bringing its tire technologies to the world of sports.
That's right. The same polymer technologies that allow you to take sharp turns with maximum precision on our Potenza tires is being put to use here. Troy Aikman and Deion Sanders are helping us test it out. Troy seems to like the control.
That ain't right, man.
Deion,
that ain't right.
Not so much.
Giddy up now, Deion. At Bridgestone, our passion for performance knows no bounds.
And what you're looking at right now is the Cadillac ELR hybrid electric car. Really exciting thing being debuted here at the Detroit Auto Show, and how appropriate that I have Bob Ferguson, the global manager for the Cadillac brand. Bob, you got to be real excited about not only the whole show, but especially showing the ELR here.
Yeah, it was fun this morning to roll this car out and to see how people were very excited about it. You know, I think this is a pivot point for Cadillac. This is an opportunity for us to reassert ourselves as both a styling and a technology leader. So yesterday was a great day with the award we won for the ATS, and this is even better. It really is exciting to be a part of the Cadillac team.
Now, obviously, it's a hybrid electric, really a plug-in based on the Volt technology. But I imagine that there's been some things done differently besides the styling in the electrics of the car. More performance or something like that? What could the owners expect?
Absolutely. You know, it's been tuned to provide more performance. The car is wider, 20-inch tires on it. From a handling perspective and a luxury perspective, it's quite a different vehicle, but it shares the cutting-edge technology that's proven to be so popular with those who own the Volt.
Inside, describe a little bit about what people can expect to see there.
I think they're going to come and look at this interior and say, wow. The interior is among the best I've ever seen. It's hand-stitched. It's incredible leather. The dashboard has the look of the work of a true artist. So yes, we couldn't be more proud of this car and excited about the way it's going to perform in the marketplace.
Still, what, about a year away before it's in the showroom?
Yes.
January of 2014.
That's right. We'll start making them at Hamtramck in Detroit in the fall, and they'll be in showrooms in January.
I'm guessing, I'm going to ask anyway, you haven't said anything about price yet?
Yep, we haven't determined where we're going to be on price, but stay tuned, and we'll pump more information out about that real soon.
This is, I imagine, going to bring new people into Cadillac dealerships that you might not normally see.
Yeah, you know, and we're seeing that with the ATS. 70% of the buyers are new to Cadillac. The market testing on this has been remarkably good, and it shows exactly as you predicted that we'll get consideration from people who traditionally have not looked at Cadillac. So this not only will help us by reputation, but it will help expand those who would consider buying a Cadillac.
I'm intrigued by the global part of your title. Will you be taking this car overseas too? And wouldn't this be a great calling card to really show the world that Cadillac is the standard?
Exactly, and that's the plan. This car, I think, will do very well here, but we have very ambitious plans to take it internationally, to China, to other places where luxury does very well, in Europe. So yes, I think this will be a good reintroduction to Cadillac in some international markets.
What else are you doing internationally? Growing the dealer base? What else?
You know, we had a great year in China. We exceeded expectations on sales for Cadillac there. We see a lot of growth in markets like Russia. We're getting the product set right so that we can aggressively market Cadillac in Europe. So lots of opportunities, and I think it's time for American luxury to reassert itself on the world marketplace.
Europe, of course, is still a heavily diesel market.
Yes.
What are the plans for Cadillac to put a diesel in the different models?
So we're doing a lot of planning around that, and we recognize that you need right-hand drive and you need a broad line of diesel products. So we're hard at work on that.
Manufacturing in China too, because as you well know, if you don't manufacture there, you get hit by a pretty stiff import tax.
Yeah, we are right now making the XTS in China, and we will debut that in showrooms within a month.
And changing topics somewhat, but still talking Cadillac. 2 years ago we saw the CL, a car of heroic proportions as I would describe it.
Right.
What can you update us on where that stands?
Ed Welburn, who's the head of our design, loves that vehicle, and he and Mark Adams and the team did a terrific job of designing that, and of course it was a big award winner out at Pebble Beach. So we're looking hard at that vehicle, and Ed feels like he can do even better. So watch for us maybe at Pebble Beach this year, and something exciting in that vein that may be a little easier to bring to market.
Thanks for the tip on that. We will be looking at what you show at Pebble Beach. That's great.
Thanks for your interest.
Bob, thanks so much for your time today. Very interesting to see where Cadillac's going and to see that you're running it on a global basis now.
Yeah, we're very excited. Thank you.
Pleasure. Take care now. Come on, folks, we're going to go over to Honda right now, but before we do, I see my friend Michael Martini. Michael,
John, how are you, man?
I'm doing great.
Great.
So, the president of Bridgestone America's OEM equipment.
You got it,
man.
Sales,
and I know why you're eyeing this car.
Well, not only is it a beautiful car, but it's got the right skins on it too. You know, so we're pretty happy about that. They are.
Now, is that new business for you?
Yeah, it is.
Going with Cadillac?
Yeah, no, actually, you know, we are. I don't know. I haven't actually calculated lately, but we may be the largest supplier to Cadillac on the tire side. You know, we got the Escalade, the ATS, some CTS fitments, and certainly this car. So we're pretty excited about it.
Now, since this is really essentially a plug-in hybrid, are they super low rolling resistance or anything special?
Yeah, they really are. And it, you know, I think Mark Royce made the perfect comment the other day. You know, get it right, get it light. You know, and that's really what we're doing on the tire side too. You know, we showcased a half-weight tire way back at the Frankfurt Auto Show, and that's where we're heading. And these are the kind of products that, you know, we're all going to need to do to get to 54.5 miles per gallon by 2025.
No doubt about it. Let's walk over to Honda, and we can chat on the way too. But what's your overall impression of the show?
You know, it's unbelievable. You know, I mean, last year there was a ton of excitement, but I think this year they've even eclipsed it. So I'm really excited. How about you?
Well, I agree. You know, the buzz is pretty good. You know, 2012 was a pretty good sales year. Everybody's making money. All the executives know they're going to make their bonus this year. Everyone's got a smile
That's a good
on
thing,
their face.
right?
It really is. And any cars that really have caught your eye besides the Cadillac ELR?
I was really proud of the Autoline viewers that picked the car and truck of the year. I thought that was not a huge surprise because we know how good all those people are. But
it was great to see that the Autoline viewers nailed it.
Right, and we're really happy we're on both of those products, which isn't all bad either.
No, that's absolutely really good, as a matter of fact. At Honda here now, I know you guys are involved with the IndyCar program, and clearly Honda's super involved with that too. We should find. I know they got one of their race cars here.
Yeah,
someplace.
it's right. It's on the other side of that EV steer, and it's kind of neat. Honda is obviously a huge customer of ours as well, and having kind of that theme of low rolling resistance. Actually, the Insight, which is their lowest best mileage hybrid, is riding on Bridgestone's. This vehicle right here, this EV steer concept's really a kind of a neat vehicle. It too is running on Bridgestones, and when we go around the corner...
Wait, hold on. Let's stick with the EV steer a minute. And these are low rolling resistance?
These are low rolling resistance concept tires. Again, if you go over to the BMW booth and look at the i8 and the i3, those have got Bridgestone concept low rolling resistance products too. Those are kind of even neater because they actually got blue in the tires, so you got to go over and take a look at those.
Let's swing around the corner here and just take a quick look at the race car.
Yeah, this is Dario's car, obviously, from this year's
Indy 500 winners.
And
I got the trophy, the Borg Warner trophy here too, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, and they're actually taking really cool shots with the car here, which is cool. And she said, "Do you want a shot with the car?" And I said, "Well, let me show you my iPhone." And actually, I was in Winner's Circle this year where the car really rolled there, and I was really pretty excited about that. But this is our Firestone product, and obviously, Firestone and racing go back to 1911, the very first race. Yes, we've won over 60 races at Indy. Nobody can kind of match that, and the owners just love our products on these race cars.
And is there a win on Sunday, sell on Monday thing going with tires too, or what?
Yeah, that's absolutely the case. I mean, that's really why we do it. You got to showcase your technology. Even though cars are a lot more sexy and everything, people obviously need tires too, and they're going to look at what's performed on the track, and real customers that are really enthusiasts, and those are all kind of racing fans. They really, that's a really important demographic for us.
Cool. Well, come on, walk with me over here. We're going to see Mike Acavidi in a second, but
great guy.
Hey, look, thanks so much for walking along with me here, filling in some of the stuff. I hadn't seen that EV steer from Honda.
Right.
That's cool to see that and what all is going on there.
Sounds great, John. You can have a great show.
Yeah, you have a great show too. I'll see you around.
See you Friday.
Yeah. And here we go. My next interview, Mike Acavidi, the head of sales for Honda North America.
Good to see you.
So tell us about what you've got on the stand here, an urban SUV concept.
So this is our urban SUV concept, which is a new, smaller SUV that is based upon our Fit platform, which is our subcompact platform. And this is a concept, meaning that this reflects the production direction of a car that's going to be coming out in 2014.
So this is not a CR-V replacement?
Correct. This actually is positioned slightly below the CR-V in terms of size and, of course, price. So it's going to offer consumers another option for a fantastic fuel-efficient Honda SUV.
Is the market that big? I mean, this seems to be almost emerging as a CUV show.
I think what you're seeing, what we're seeing as we look through our crystal ball, is a growth in this smaller segment because consumers are becoming more comfortable with smaller cars. The fuel mandates are requiring manufacturers to produce smaller cars, yet consumers don't want to give up on the utility that they've become used to with their bigger cars. So thus, the perfect answer, we believe, is the urban SUV concept.
And what I like about this from a styling standpoint is Honda showing that it can put more drama and flair into the look of its car.
It's one of the things that we do want to amplify is when we have a good heritage with our styling. We want to make sure that we maintain that. We're also very good packaging experts. That's one of the strengths of the brand. And so we think that we build a better mousetrap. Even though it's a small package, it still provides passenger space for 5, plus utility.
Tell us a little bit about some of the styling that we see. I mean, the headlamps with individual LEDs is dramatic. Is that something that could actually make its way into production, or is that part of the concept?
Yeah, that's really part of the concept. I mean, what you see here with the concept is a portion of the car is going to end up coming into production. The character lines, the shape, the profile, some of the details like the headlamps and the wheels and the tail lamps, those are still being developed, and they may take a different form in production, John.
Gotcha. I always want to ask about that. You said it's based on the fit. It's a little bit smaller than the CR-V. Pricing-wise, is that how it would fall to between fit and CR-V?
Well, it'll absolutely be below the CR-V, and most likely somewhere between that. But we're still working on the final price, but definitely below the CR-V. And we're going to produce it at our new plant in North America that we're building in Mexico.
Oh, very interesting. Yeah, Honda finally getting into Mexico.
We've been there for a little bit, but we're doubling down now. We're going to be producing a lot more vehicles down there.
Honda had a great year in 2012. In fact, you even had, I haven't seen the final numbers, did Civic end up as the best-selling car in America?
Yes, it did, as a matter of fact.
And that's the Civic that everyone's been criticizing for everything under the sun, and yet you came out as the best-selling car.
Well, we've been telling people all along that there's really nothing wrong with the Civic. I mean, it was a great car, and a lot of people bought it, and it was #1 in its segment. However, the philosophy at Honda is continuous improvement, and things can always be better. And so that's why our engineers produced an even better Civic, and that's what we're launching right now in the marketplace.
Tell us a little bit about some of the changes that you made on the new one.
So the primary changes are in the interior, the touch and feel of the materials, the design and look of the dash. Exterior-wise, we also made some modifications of the tail lamps and the front fascias as well to demonstrate that this is a new car. And then we added some sound deadening material so that it was a quieter ride as well.
So better car all the way around. What do you predict for 2013? Can you hold on to that #1 slot?
Continue momentum. And we have every intention of holding on to that #1 slot, John.
What else am I missing that's newsworthy at Honda? Because you came roaring back last year. I can't believe you can maintain that kind of growth, but I still got to believe you're going to have a better year in 2013.
We're confident that we're going to have a better year. In fact, we're targeting the highest sales that we've ever had at America Honda. And the reasons that we're doing that, there's really three. The CR-V, which is only a year or so old right now, the Accord, which is only 4 months out of the launch gate, and the new Civic, which we just started launching a month ago. Well, that's about 73% of our volume, and we anticipate continued growth through 2013 because of those core models.
Did I see right, your agency, you're up for review? Are you looking for a new ad agency at Honda?
Well, what we're doing is, as part of our business, is to make sure that we're producing the best marketing, the best advertising that we can. And so we wanted to be above board and let everybody know that we're out looking around to see what other opportunities that might exist. RPA, our current advertising, is participating in that review, and we'll see how it ends up.
Got to be hard to change agencies when you just finished with the best-selling car in America, isn't it?
Well, again, continuous improvement.
There you go.
Right.
Mike Acavidi, thanks so much for your time. Really appreciate it. Great seeing you again.
Thank you very much.
Okay, people, we're going to take a short break right now, and we're going to come back and look at some of the new form language that's taking place at that hot brand, Hyundai.
The next wave of Italians has come to America, and they've come to party. The Italian-designed Fiat 500.
ITC operates, builds, and maintains the electric transmission infrastructure. We are working hard to improve electric reliability and increase electric transmission capacity throughout our operations across the Midwest. ITC, we're your energy superhighway.
And right now we're in the Nissan display looking at the latest small car, the redesign of the Versa, and joining me is Fred De Perez, the Chief Marketing Manager for Small Cars.
Glad to be here, glad to be here.
It's really good to have you here with us because I want to know more about this car. I haven't seen it until I just walked up to the stand here, Fred.
Well, it's a great new car. You know, the Versa nameplate is, we're the #1 in the entry segment with Versa. And we launched the sedan in 2011, and now is the hatch called the Versa Note. That's going to go on sale this summer, and we're really excited about it. Great new styling, really aerodynamic. We have this thing on the side called the squash line, which really helps fuel economy, believe it or not.
How so?
Well, it's just our coefficient of drag is way down. We even have an active grille shutter in the car, so the styling is great. We've made the car bigger since the last generation, but didn't sacrifice styling to do that. So lots of versatility on the inside, lots of great styling, but the real story is the technology. Nissan Connect with navigation, which gives you hands-free phone, hands-free text messaging, Pandora link, streaming audio. I could go on, but loaded with technology and a round view monitor. First in segment, 4 cameras are on the car that gives you a bird's eye view of the vehicle. So parking is easy, fitting in tight spaces, getting in and out of where you want to be is great.
And, you know, as you mentioned, too, this thing sells very well. People think, oh, it's probably the Honda Fit, the Ford Fiesta, or something like that. No, this dominates the segment, doesn't it?
It does really, really well. And, you know, nowadays, if you can supply the combination of styling, affordability, technology, and efficiency, which is what we've done with the Versa Note, you have a home run. So we're really excited about the car.
Why are you calling it the Versa Note? What's the model designation Note mean?
Well, it's in the Versa family, so we wanted to pay homage to the fact that it's in the Versa family. But it's also launched across the world as the Note. And so we're kind of in that in-between spot where we want to make sure that people understand it's a different kind of Versa.
And now, you've had a CVT in here. You mentioned that you've gone with the shutters, and what'd you call that funny thing on the side of it, the squash line?
The squash line, yeah.
What kind of fuel economy can we expect out of this car?
Get 40 miles per gallon on the highway, and that comes with the active grille shutter, low rolling resistance tires, great body effects to help in the coefficient of drag, and starts at $13,990.
Wow, $13,990.
Yeah, great deal.
That's a great deal. Now, wait a minute. Does that include destination or no?
Does not include destination.
Okay, so it's a little over 14.
A little over 14, but still a great value.
No doubt about it. Now, you also oversee the marketing of other small cars besides the Versa Note. Any other news that we should be aware of at Nissan?
Well, we just launched the Sentra, which is, we've been in the U.S. with Sentra for about 30 years, and this is the best generation of Sentra we've ever built. Best-in-class fuel economy. The interior fit and finish is above expectations. Great drivability. Really, really excited to have these cars in the stable right now.
I'll bet you are. Anyway, Fred De Perez, thanks so much for your time today. Really a pleasure meeting you and learning about the new Versa Note, and pretty awesome display that you guys have here, too.
World premiere of this display here at Detroit.
So this will be seen at other auto shows besides here?
Yes, yes.
Okay, hey, thanks so much for your time, man. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay? Come on, people. We're going to go to Hyundai right now and talk to the head of design over there. But before we do, here's Charlie Vogelheim, who are our longtime viewers. Hey, Charlie, put that phone away. And, yeah, come on, let's walk over to Hyundai right now.
Let's get to work, huh? It's been a long day.
Well, tell me about your view of the show overall. I mean, you go to all these auto shows. What's your reaction to the 2013 NAIAS?
So, being here in Detroit, and again, coming from California, is always a special time for me, just because, again, I like to see what the hometown manufacturers are doing. And of course, the big story here is the Corvette. I mean, it's just, in terms of an iconic brand, an iconic model, it's kind of through the roof in terms of the acceptance, and of course, the Stingray moniker and everything has been really great. And I've been in the business almost 30 years, and maybe half a dozen times you get a chance to kind of see something like that come out, and particularly with everything that led up to it, with the bankruptcy and the all the problems happening. It's just nice to have a good story like that come out of a show like that. So it's pretty much eclipsing most of the things we're seeing, but overall a very positive attitude. Everyone's excited about the growth in the market. The dealers doing well, and So again, you want to talk about a couple of the cars you like and that I like and I've seen?
Yeah. What stands out in your mind? You mentioned Corvette. Obviously, everyone's talking about that. We'll be getting into that in the show here, of course. But
right. And then, of course, the a couple of the manufacturers that have done some things. Obviously, Toyota talking about how they've done well. I really liked the Jeep presentation this morning. I thought there was some the new Grand Cherokee, to see that. I'm very excited about the 6-cylinder diesel coming out and the new transmissions that Jeep's putting out. So you talk about that. You talk about fuel economy, and of course, then a lot of the manufacturers are showing their power plays, and the new Audi 7, the S7. And some of the other cars. You're looking at a Volvo that's got more horsepower than a Porsche across the aisle from it. It's kind of wild.
Yeah, that's not to be expected.
No.
What I like too is just the quality of the displays. You can tell that the automakers are all spending more money on their displays than they did even just a year ago.
Well, and again, that's the nice thing about this show. You really see, better displays at this show than you see at any other show in North America. And again, even as you look at the Chrysler family presentations here, it's really, world class as far as that goes. We're starting to see a few concept cars. I know a lot of cars are introduced before the show. It takes a little bit of some of the excitement off, but obviously, General Motors, going back to them, they've got the new pickups there that are certainly worth seeing if you haven't seen them yet. And then we've got the concept cars. We're walking over to Hyundai, and they've got the Genesis concept.
Yeah.
We saw the Furia, the Corolla concept at Toyota, and then of course Honda has one also.
It's cool to see concept cars at an auto show.
Well, I think it is. For a lot of reasons. It's what really attracts us all to come to the shows and to see where the design elements are going, and then you and I get to look at the designs and say what they're going to keep and what they're not going to keep. But I think that's what really we like to see. There's a lot of talk about connectivity and about what's going on the inside of the car. It's great to see the quality increase. Going back to the Corvette, the beautiful interior on that particular vehicle. And then, but the neat thing is the headlights. There's still a story there. When they started putting a little bit of the jewel around the headlights, we start to see a brightened front end. I always, the headlights is the eyes to the car, and now we're seeing so much done with LEDs right now. We saw it in the Jeep as identified as a premium identifier with some LED headlamps on it, and of course we're seeing it on the backs of the cars also. And then you see the lighting on the inside. I think is really fun to see in terms of, again, just the whole ambience that creates in the car, the comfort and individuality that you can put on the inside of the car. So that's all good stuff. So.
Yeah, hey, thanks for sharing your thoughts. Really appreciate it.
Good to see you. Always a pleasure.
Okay, take care, man. We'll see you around. And now we're going to be talking with Chris Chapman, the head of design for Hyundai, talking about their wild concept car.
Hello, sir. Wow.
Chris.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, too, as well,
wonderful.
Chris.
Are you having a good show?
A really good show.
Fantastic.
And in fact, I was just talking with Charlie Vogelheim, and one of the things that we said that we like about the show is concept cars.
Of course.
We've been to some other shows recently, and there weren't one there.
Yeah, sure.
You guys trotted out something significant.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun here. Yeah, it's a four-door premium coupe concept, and we're really excited about it.
Now, this is what, the HCD 12? Or
HCD 14, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a low-slung car, classic rear-wheel drive proportions, long wheelbase, long hood, low car, and we like to say it has kind of an attitude of a cat with its ears pinned back. So we're really trying to get that kind of wonderful peppered-in attitude of a car that has a bit of intrigue and a bit of a mystery to it.
Now, nobody does concept cars these days just for the fun of it. It's always got to be with a purpose in mind. That this could be indicative of what the new Genesis might be.
This is an expression of an essence of how we could imagine the Genesis or the premium lineup for our car company. I want to make something really clear that this is not the predecessor of the next Genesis limousine. This is an expression from the design team of how we can imagine the essence of the brand as it could evolve, and simple. So we've got a really beautifully sculpted car. I feel as though we've really minimized the details and the light catchers and the things that could interrupt the sheet metal and let it breathe, let it just be, right? And that actually applies to our philosophy on the inside of the car and the technology that's underneath. And with all the screens and all of the interesting kind of what we might call infotainment, we're really undermining, or we're really trying to express and prioritize actually safety. So We have a multi-pronged approach in terms of the HMI system, where we have this interaction with the eye tracking, with the gesture control, and the voice. And just as you and I are talking here, you can see I'm using my hands. Well, we hope that that kind of spirit can be something of the way we would interact with the car in the future. So eye tracking, it's a bit far off, but it's here, and that easy access technology really inspired us to try to create something new and be able to talk to the car in a natural and intuitive way.
I love what you're talking about, of how clean the look of this car is, and it really is. That's easier to do in a big, long car, though, isn't it?
It is. It is. I think, you know, you're looking for long lines, you're chasing lines around. With a shorter vehicle, it's a bit more of a spontaneous approach to the line chasing, so you're trying to interrupt things a bit more. It can be energetic, but, you know, I don't think there's anybody out there that's trying to go from either an entry-level vehicle like one of our Accent all the way up to an Equus. That's car companies that are trying to make you feel old, right? We want to make you feel young and appreciate the driving experience.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
I love this unbroken roof line, you know, picking up from the bottom of the windshield all the way back into the deck lid there.
Yeah.
Is that the kind of look that you'd love to be able to carry over into production? Maybe
Absolutely.
Maybe not as lowered. It looks a little bit cheated here, but nonetheless, that's got to be a look that you like.
No, absolutely. I think it's just indicative of where the world is going right now, and you know, these sort of classic forms, classic lines to cars. Well, I think we're sensing that essentially the customers are speaking to us and saying that we want something that makes us feel a little bit younger, a little bit more dynamic. We want to be able to step out of the car and feel as though we can, you know, announce our arrival with a lot of confidence and presence, but without really necessarily shouting it out. We want this car to be very effortless in its approach to how it deals with the world and how you interact with it.
Are you going to use this show to gauge consumer interest in this kind of a look?
Well, certainly there's that aspect of it, but really our intention was to really just share with the world from our heart and from our minds of how we want to approach the next generations of Hyundai styling and Hyundai design, and really our brand values of where we really want to take the company. It's just a simple approach. We're trying to, you know, organize lines and try to create things that don't necessarily get defined or described as over-designed, right? We want to try to, you know, we kind of busted in the party. We've kind of made ourselves known. Now, to stay at the party, we need to be, you know, very cognizant of our behavior and really start to understand where we've been, where we've come, and where we're going to go.
Real interesting. I love what you've done here, and I've got to walk around the car a little bit more myself.
Absolutely. Please
to take it all in.
Please do.
Chris Chapman, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you so much. It's really great to meet you.
Likewise.
All right.
Likewise.
Take care.
Take care.
Right, enjoy the show.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break here, and then we're going to come back, and I'm going to talk with the guy who left General Motors to go to Russia.
For some, it's the freedom. For others, the independence. No matter what drives you to get out there, leave no stone unturned. You have the power. And where you'll find it is within.
We are IAC Group, a global Tier 1 supplier of vehicle interior solutions that span the rapid, ever-changing needs of today's industry. From interior design and engineering to manufacturing and delivery, IAC, our heritage, your advantage.
Come in.
Coffee?
That was fast.
We're out of here.
Well, they call this the North American International Auto Show, and here we get pretty international because joining me right now is Bo Anderson, the president and CEO of the Russian car company Gaz. Bo, what a pleasure to have you here in Detroit again.
Thanks for having me.
We should point out to the viewership that you had been at General Motors, but now you're running your own car company in Russia.
Running my own car company, and I appreciate raising the prices more than taking them down.
That's a good line. Gaz, of course, has always been known for making trucks. But if I remember right, you're going to be making a car very soon.
Gaz, first, we made Volga passenger cars for 75 years.
Oh, is that right?
I closed it. And you're right, now we mainly do light commercial trucks, heavy-duty trucks, buses. But starting last year, we also started producing Skoda Yeti for Volkswagen. This year, we will do Volkswagen Jetta, the new Skoda Octavia. We are producing the Chevy Aveo since December, and we will also produce a Mercedes Sprinter.
Mercedes, Chevrolet, and Volkswagen.
And
How
Skoda.
did you land though? And Skoda. Well, Skoda is part of Volkswagen Group, I should say.
A lot of luck, a lot of pressure, because when I closed down our passenger car factory, I had a lot of open capacity, I had a lot of people, I had a lot of equipment. So we talked to 20 OEMs, and in the end, these ones were the most eager.
Is that the way really into the Russian market, rather than have an OEM go in and do it itself? It should team up with a Russian producer?
I mean, the benefit for these partners is they get capacity rather fast. Everything that is difficult in Russia, hiring people, training people, keeping the place clean, not corrupt, is my responsibility. Plus, I'm responsible for the quality. They need to benchmark the cost. So I would say it's a win-win. I mean, we have the capacity, we have the people, we get brand new vehicles to build, we get the latest production technology, and we have trained 500 of our Russian citizens in Mexico, Korea, Germany, and Czech Republic.
So you build vehicles outside of Russia as well?
No, but we train the people in Volkswagen, GM, and Daimler facilities.
I see what you mean. I see what you mean. The light commercial vehicles, you're obviously continuing to build them?
We are number one, so we have 50% of the market share.
In Russia?
In Russia, and it's a very strong business, very profitable, and we have very loyal customer base. Today in Russia we have 1.8 million of our light commercial vehicles on the roads.
That's a lot of vehicles.
That's a lot of vehicles.
The design of the light commercial, was that done by Gaz itself?
Done by Gaz itself, and in February we're launching our new models of light commercial vehicles. Very good looking, and we will launch 6 different models.
Would you ever consider Gaz designing its own passenger car?
Maybe, but Gaz Volga used to be the market leader 30 years ago, but we lost it over time.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, now the market's open too. 30 years ago, it was not as open.
No, then we had 100% of the luxury sedans. 100%.
And you're looking for more partners to build cars for? You still have capacity there, or what's the status?
I mean, first I want to please the ones we have. So this year is a launch year. We have 8-year contracts with all of these partners. I'm more ready for them to renew to give us the second 8 years. So that's our priority, and we're working on that.
Everybody seems to be very bullish on the Russian market. What's your outlook for the rest of the decade?
I mean, it's a strong market. Think about this. It's 142 million people. We have 9 time zones. We have roughly 240 vehicles per 1,000 people. Middle class is growing. So last year we ended at 2.9 million vehicles, passenger cars and LCVs. This year I think it will be 3.1. And I would say 4 million is a good number for Russia going forward.
Think we'll ever see some of the Gaz vehicles here at the Detroit Auto Show, or at least in the American market?
I mean, our commercial vehicles would do very well in Russia, and we have a new 18-seater bus that would be a good commuter bus for US. So I don't think passenger cars, but light commercial vehicles, absolutely.
Very interesting. Yeah. Give us any hint. Are you looking to do that, or you're just saying that could be a possibility?
No, but when I look at what's on the streets here, is our products are much better.
Bo, always a pleasure talking to you. Thanks for bringing us up to speed with what's going on in Russia.
Thank you.
Pleasure seeing you. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back, and I'll be answering some of the questions that you all have submitted. Back right after this.
Interested in the always changing supplier community and how it impacts the auto industry? Then join John McElroy for an Autoline exclusive this Thursday for the first ever Autoline Supplier Symposium from the floor of the North American International Auto Show. John talks live with a variety of Tier 1 executives, including Bridgestone's president Michael Martini and Jim Kamsiskis, the CEO of International Automotive Components, to name two. Plus, we'll also get the customer perspective, as Bert Jordan from Ford joins us as well. See the entire list of guests at our website. That's this Thursday, January 17th at 1:30 p.m. Eastern on our website at autoline.tv.
Welcome back to the last segment of our live coverage from the floor of the Detroit Auto Show, Day 2. Now I'm going to get to some of your questions that you've submitted through the chat room. Jonathan, you're up first. He asks, does Cadillac expect the ELR to be quicker than the Volt in acceleration? Will there be a power mode that will cut range yet increase acceleration capability? They're not saying, Jonathan, you heard our interview with Bob Ferguson. They're not letting details out right now, but that's the rumor, that the ELR is going to be significantly quicker than the Volt, but you're going to give up a little bit of range to get that better performance out of the car. I'm sure somewhere deeper in this year we're going to learn more details on it. Nintendo Dave says, is there a chance that we will see the new Mustang concept? Do you think there will be an all-new F-150 this year? What else does Ford have at the show? Well, let's get to the Mustang first. Nope, not going to see that here this year. Maybe next year. As you all know, we're coming up on the 50th anniversary of the introduction of the Mustang. Ford apparently is going to make a big blowout about all that, but not at this year's show. But new F-150, yeah, they did release the concept version of that this morning. In fact, dang it, they did that earlier than we could get into this today's Autoline Daily, so we missed that. We'll have more on that tomorrow, but I'm sure you can find all kinds of information about what they released at the show. And of course, they did it because they wanted to steal some of the thunder from the new Chevy Silverado, which is debuting at this show. Giafan says, I think the Corolla concept mirrors the Euro Civic 5-door design language. I agree. Part of the nose in that, doesn't that remind you of what the Civic is over in Europe? I think you really picked up on that, Giafan. Bahrain Bob says, I was in Istanbul last week and drove a Chevy Cruze diesel. Is that on display in Detroit? I got to ask the crew, anybody been over the Cruze diesel? No, we don't know yet. I'll go over there and check out that later. It should be on display, but I haven't heard anything about it. And look, that's how busy we are here at the show. Even we who are here right now, as we're webcasting live, we can't get out and see everything. When the show's over, then I go walk around. But I do want to find out about that Cruze diesel. Good question. RMT1 says, will VW ever bring the 170 horsepower diesel to the U.S. for the Golf, Jetta, and Passat? I'll bet they do. Because look, the Volkswagen Group, Volkswagen and Audi, are really hot on diesels. I expect to see more models from them, and soon. Scott in Cleveland says, will VW ever bring a microbus or bully-inspired minivan to the U.S.? The Bully, of course, being the van that they've got over in Europe. And you got to believe that they will. I mean, Volkswagen, if they're going to get to 1 million units in sales in the U.S., including Audi, they're going to have to do their own minivan. They can't just buy them from Chrysler and put their own name on it. So I would expect some sort of microvan to come at some point. Charlie Horse Scout says, will GM show the 2014 Colorado Canyon? Not at this show. Will Jeep show the 2014 Diesel Wrangler? No, not the Wrangler. They're only showing the Grand Cherokee at this show. But like we just said earlier on the Chevy Cruze, a lot of diesel stuff going on here. Glenn E. says, Sergio Marchionne is not happy with Dart sales. I'll bet he's not. Why is it not selling better? Glenn E. says, I think it's the price. I don't know. You know, it's a very competitive segment. I think Dodge so far has made the world aware that there is a Dart, but they have not done a good enough job of bringing people into the showroom and actually buying them. So I can believe it that Sergio's not happy with where the sales are. I mean, the Dodge Avenger easily outsells the Dart. It's not supposed to be that way. I think we're going to see heads roll if that situation doesn't get changed around. Let's see, Nintendo Dave says, will we see airless tires on cars? Maybe, but not at the 2013 Detroit Auto Show. Somewhere down the road? Possibly. Let's see, RMT1 says, will Honda go back to a simplified dashboard design in the Civic to replace the less than successful two-tiered design now used? RMT, I'll bet they do. I don't like the two-tier design. It's not as clean looking. You especially compare that to, for example, what Volkswagen's doing with its IPs. Much cleaner look. I hope Honda gets back to that. Glenn E. says, is the Chevrolet SS at the show? Nope, that's not here either. Boy, you guys really know your product. But no, it's not at this show. You know, they don't want to do everything in Detroit. They got to save stuff for Chicago, which is right around the corner, later on in New York, and later in the year then at L.A. With the Corvette and the Silverado, Chevy's got a full plate at the Detroit show. Okay, last question we've got from Chuck RCM. I'd like to know if Volvo plans on bringing the XC40 to North America with a diesel. That would be perfect. And boy, that ties in with what we've been talking about on diesels here. I completely, totally agree. They ought to bring a diesel in. Whether they're going to do that or not is uncertain. I think everyone's going to be watching how well the Chevy Cruze diesel does, the Mazda 6 diesel, and the Grand Cherokee diesel. Believe me, we'll have the answer before the year is out. If those cars do even reasonably well from a sales standpoint, you're going to see a lot of other automakers jumping in. Anyway, that wraps up our live coverage from the Detroit North American International Auto Show. Thanks for having watched with us. I hope you enjoy all the different interviews that we did. For me, it's been a blast bringing this to you. But for now, McElroy signing out.
Autoline Live from the North American International Auto Show is brought to you by our signature sponsors. Chrysler, the Chrysler 300S, imported from Detroit. Dodge. Fiat, the next wave of Italians has arrived. Jeep, for more information on the full lineup, visit Jeep.com. Ram, visit RamTrucks.com. And also by Audi, Truth in Engineering. Bridgestone, your journey, our passion. IAC, Inside Solutions from IAC. ITC Holdings Corporation. Visit us at www.itctransco.com. ITC is your energy superhighway.